the way it actually looks fucking sick. Ooh. That looks, wow. That's very nice. Holy moly, dude, my controller's vibrating so much. Oh. Now we gotta be dead. There's no shot we live that.
It is impossible to escape. I have tried everything. I'm always brought back by... There is a moment between death and rebirth when tentacles drag me down.
Tentacles?
Screaming, drowning.
What the hell going on?
Returning.
That's... Oh, I have to go there. There's definitely gonna be something in there. Oh. What the hell? Oh! What? Oh my god, bro. Oh! Oh my god. No! What? What the? Okay. Returnal. Yep. Basically kind of like a roguelike then. That's pretty cool.
Helios!
Now we're back to where...
Astra, this is Celine. I survived the... Can you hear me? I'm in my ship.
Oh. A game that I've been enjoying recently and have picked up out of just pure curiosity. Returnal. Most likely you would have not ended up really knowing much about Returnal, let alone even seen any gameplay or heard of the name, but I've been absolutely enjoying Returnal. It's been such a just cool experience playing this game. And I honestly just ended up finding it. I saw the reveal trailer when it was first announced, thinking it was a sci-fi adventure game, and it, well, it kind of is sort of that. It's a sci-fi roguelike, and honestly, I hearing that, or even playing through it, I was like, why? And I think going straight into the gameplay, it's straight up just, it's fun. It works so well with everything. The enemy is very simple. You kind of get these lizard things or these octopus-looking things that just fly around, shoot beams. It's basically just a whole bunch of orbs and you're just dodging. But it is so fun because it just keeps you intrigued. It keeps you engaged the entire time. There's not a pause of just boring action. Whenever you're shooting, you're either just running away or consistently moving away, trying not to get hit. Mostly because health is very scarce and you don't really get that much health back from health kits. And the enemies are simple, but the attack patterns and the attacks that they shoot at you is just fun. You're just dodging most of the time, having fun, running around, exploring the map. And it being a roguelike does kind of, turn people away from Returnal. It meaning that, when you die, you lose basically everything that you've accomplished in that one run, except for items that you do pick up throughout the main objective of just story items that help you reach the area that you were at when you died faster. Those items do become permanent, but they are always locked behind a boss fight that you do have to end up completing. And it's it does get brutal at times. Sometimes you just have an unlucky run where you get no good items or parasites, which parasites give you a buff but also a debuff, and you can't really take them off. You either put them on and stay with the debuff, or sometimes you'll find items that take the parasites off, but it's honestly just a pure RNG based roguelike that you just have to hope that the run that you do is a run that is gonna take you to the end. And there's 3 biomes, and every single one they get tougher and tougher, and depending on how far you get, it gets hard at times, mostly because you don't really know what is gonna come out or pop out. There's always new areas to explore filled with different types of enemies that have different types of movesets from the other biomes. There's always side areas that have either loot or they have a nice little parkour puzzle. It's always just something new that just keeps you intrigued and keeps you wanting to explore more and more and more. One of my favorite parts of this game is just the gameplay. It's so much fun. At first, you start very basic with just your normal jump and dash, which truly is nothing special when it comes to games. But I think in this format of game, it really works well because you're always just either moving and dashing, shooting at the same time, and the guns themselves feel so good. Having a nice little mechanic to end up having different weapons, have different abilities, or you would call them a special if you want. It's always different, and each time you end up progressing through the area, you get weapon points, which depending on what level you are on your weapon proficiency, you end up getting higher level weapons with different abilities, passive abilities, and there's a wide variety of things. Which I mean, it's just super fun, and the movement in this game is incredible. You get items later on into the game, like a grappling hook, that changes just the way you fight enemies by just running around and grappling hook. Everything just it's just so much fun. Even though it kind of every item's hidden behind a boss fight, and the boss fights have just been incredibly fun. It's usually whenever you get a boss fight, you either get just a very simple just boss fight that it's just kind of like you either just stay back, shoot, or you just keep dodging. And this one, it just keeps you always intrigued with all the different phases that the boss has, keeping you just having fun. It's just something that most games don't really do that well with bosses. The bosses here always end up having new attacks. Honestly, like look at this shit. This stuff is insane. The sheer amount of just things being thrown at you and you just having to learn on the spot is incredible. It's hard, yes, but it's also very fun whenever you end up just having that one good run. It's incredibly fun. The game keeps itself very fresh when every single run you end up having, every single room is just newly generated. You don't get the same room every single time. It's always something different. So whenever you end up dying, it's just you're entering a new room with new areas to explore, with new loot to have. It's always just something fun. It's always something new. Of course, you could just rush straight to the portals, which are take you to the next biome. But if you just explore new areas, you're able to get more new loot and even better loot to keep you going and not die as fast as you would if you would just speed run the entire thing. And the items in this game are kind of scarce. You end up having to you know sometimes not even have healing items for backup, or sometimes they're hidden behind walls that you're not able to destroy unless you get a certain upgrade or you end up getting a certain item. And it's sometimes very hard to just get very good items in this game, but it truly just having that RNG luck or that RNG aspect is just so much fun, since you'll know when you have a good run, or even if you do have a good run, you just get absolutely bodied by a random room filled with just tons of enemies. And I think that really just keeps the gameplay loop not boring. It's always like, well, it's always a new run. It's never you get thrown the same thing over and over again. It's always something new that you end up attacking, and it's incredible. I haven't beat the game yet, and it it's it's still, I'm like having fun. I died many times, but every single run is always different. You're always like, oh, I never even noticed that you could end up going over here, or every single room is like, look, that I didn't get this room the last run, or I haven't even seen this item. It's always just something new that you end up just exploring or just finding out, and then that all together with just the gameplay loop is just so much fun. There's not really many games that really do this, mostly in the roguelike, which it's just incredible. Some people would absolutely be turned off by just saying, hearing that's a roguelike and not really liking the fact that, once you die, you start all over with just nothing. But it does fairly keep everything nice and smooth and not as troubling as you'd think. It always, gives you items that helps you return to the place that you were, or let alone gives you, random RNG depending on the run that you take. And this story itself is just very, it's like, it's so, uh, like the story of this game, you don't really get, it doesn't spoon feed you the story. It's kind of, you just have to find out the story through past through past selves, which you every single time you die, you are brought back to the ship, and you are told the story or told what is even happening in this world that you crash landed in. You're told by past selves that have reached further and further and further but died. You always get these voice memos that you're basically explaining to what you have found to yourself. And through finding a whole bunch of items and reading the description, if you want, it unfolds the story and onto what is even happening in this world. And truly, the story it's super complicated, but it truly keeps you wanting to know more. It keeps you guessing to what is even happening. And I think that the entirety of the game is just incredible. And it sucks that it's not really known as much. even though it has some incredible reviews, it's not really known as much. It released when only on the PS5 at first, when PS5s were very scarce, and earlier this year it was released on PC, but still it's just not really being talked about much, even though it's an incredible game with absolute amazing graphics, with amazing mechanics and just fun gameplay. It just putting that all in just a roguelike loop is just something that you wouldn't even like know that it would actually work well, but it does. And it's just picking it up with no expectations and not knowing what is happening. It's just the best way to really attack this, even though you might want to just search up and see if it's good or not. I would keep that to a minimum to really enjoy the game as much as you could. And honestly, it's just if you haven't tried it, or if it's ever on sale, or you're able to play it for free, it I would really recommend to play it because it's absolutely just so much fun, and I really like no words could come out anymore. It's just incredible. And so if you could check out the game Returnal. It's really fun. What's this?
Discovered xenotype technology on the corpse of a sentient. Scan is indicating potential for suit augmentation.
Yo, what are you doing? Don't put that on you. Don't put that on you,
Appears
please.
safe to repurpose.
Oh, nope.
System integration complete.
What's this area? Can I use? Okay, that's one. What? Oh my god. That actually fucking scared the shit out of me. Reduces protection by 10%? Why do I have this? Why do I have this? What? Why can well, I'm gonna die.